And we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Mr. G. Larry Butler. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, folks.
There
Good to see you.
Like I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. My God, it just seems like yesterday, though. It's strange how time plays tricks.
I think it was yesterday.
Go. So you already know everybody, but we got to do the introductions anyway. So first, let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hi, how are you? I'm so looking forward to meeting you one day. How you doing, Larry?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a little butterflies, but I'm fine.
There you go. Well, so then we've got, we have at our studio in Florida, we have Danielle. Danielle, say hi to G. Larry.
Hello, Mr. G. Larry. Welcome to the show.
Wow, what a sexy voice. Good to meet you.
You should hear the real voice. I told her to do that. I said, you have to be Ava Gardner or we're firing you. Because she normally sounds like a bird in the morning.
Do you want to hear my real voice?
Yeah, give him your real voice.
So usually this is how I talk.
Like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, it sounds more like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, but we like the sexy voice.
We like the Ava Gardner voice.
There we go.
On it outside of the show, Ron, just for you.
There you go, and you're doing so wonderful. Then we have, in Pennsylvania, we have Scotty J. Scotty J, say hi.
Hey, Mr. G. Larry, you swing a mean axe.
Oh, thank you. Good to meet you, Scotty.
And then we have a chat room filled with people. We have all the different countries represented. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hey, folks.
You can't see them, but they're there, I promise.
I know you're out there somewhere.
That's right.
They type in what they want to say. It comes in as a typing.
Yeah, they type in the chat room so we can see things. All right, everybody. So we see Larry Butler at every red carpet that we go to. He makes all kinds of indie films. We've gotten to know him a little bit more every week because every time we're in LA, we see him. He's always around. And I have a question for you to start off with because I went down your IMDb resume because you act in a lot of movies. Some of them are good, some of them totally suck.
Yeah.
And but I am a huge Lance Henriksen fan. I've met him a ton of times. He's been on the show. He made an Alien tile for me. You did a movie called Lake Erie, and it's not that long ago, and it's with Lance Henriksen and Marilyn Gigliotti, who we also see at everything. She's from Clerks. We love her. So number one, are you in? I haven't seen the movie now, so I'm just asking questions. But are you in any scenes with Lance Henriksen?
Not with Lance personally, no. But I'm with Betsy Baker too. That's another person you probably know. Betsy Baker from The Evil Dead.
Yes, I do know her.
Both of them, they're two heavy hitters. But I played the fire chief who interacted with the lead, the female lead.
So you didn't get to.
That's major.
Then I'm not jealous anymore because my goal, even though I'm not a very good actor, my goal would be to be in a Lance Henriksen movie because I was in a TV show with him, but I wasn't in any scenes. And he's literally my favorite actor. I know he's not like Ron thinks of actors. He thinks Cary Grant and George Clooney and stuff. But for me, Lance Henriksen is like my George Clooney or my Cary Grant. Yeah. He's like my favorite. And I think it's a lot of fun.
He's a great guy. I got a picture with him at the screening and the red carpet. And so I was satisfied with that. So
absolutely.
And Jimmy,
huh?
When I told you weren't a good actor, that was before I've seen other people act. Now that I've seen so many of these cheesy, terrible $2 movies, I call them, that are made with the cell phone in a garage, you're a good actor.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I know. So I could actually do it. When I met Ron, I told him, that because I got like 50 or 60 credits. I have a lot of credits. I've been in a ton of things. And he tells me how terrible I am. And then lots of them I'm an extra in because I just wanted to be on the set of the big movies. Mm-hmm. And he would tell me, you're a terrible actor. You can't act. And then we started going to some of these movies, which we're not going to name, but some of them have been terrible. And he was like, oh, you're easily as good as you. He's like, you're better than these people.
Then most. You see, my problem today is people read lines. They no longer act. There's no character development, and there's no rehearsal, and there's no marks, and there's no steady camera. So for me, it was very difficult coming from a Hollywood of, I made movies with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter. I've worked with Charlie's Angels. I work with Rock Hudson, with Martha Ray. I've worked with some really fabulous people in a day when film was beautiful. Nowadays, anybody wants to be a producer. They produce a film. They get $1,500, and they go out and make a movie. I was roped into the movie called Croker, which cost $1,400.
No, 14,000.
Or was it 14,000?
$14,000.
And I had no idea what indie films were. I had never worked in one before, and it was the biggest shock of my life to see the film when it was completed. I couldn't imagine how anybody could make a film with so many bad things in it. I mean, the film was totally a piece of shit. And and I cringe when people say, "Oh, I've rented that film." How do you feel about some of your films?
Some of mine?
Yeah.
I agree. I can tell you one story. It was they didn't have enough money to afford jelly on the peanut butter sandwiches. So when it came time for us to do our dialogue, we were talking like this.
Into the peanut butter.
Because it stuck to the roof of our mouth. So
Right.
that's how cheap that film was. I can't name it, but his mother made the sandwiches and she didn't put the jelly on it.
Well,
So-
I think a lot of these films are changing, and I think that I am responsible for the change, because I tell the directors and the producers of these terrible films, you could do better. Learn. 1940s technique. Use it. You can't use those stars because they're all dead. But get the new stars of today and put them in the environment of the 1940s and 50s and 60s films. They were done with high quality cameras. The lighting was good, rehearsal, marks, everything was done professionally.
Mhm.
My feelings are the films of today are haphazard. Nobody cares. They just want to shoot it in 10 days. You can't shoot a film in 10 days. I'm sorry. You can't. It'll look like it's 10 days. Although Blind is the only film that I truly enjoyed out of all the films I've seen so far. I thought that Blind was really well done. Photography was good.
Were you at the blind premiere? You were,
I was
right?
there.
He
Yeah.
was there.
Right.
Larry and I discussed the film in the lobby.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
found-
waiting for her to take her clothes off, but she never did.
Yeah, which was good.
Well, I'm glad.
for her.
No, I'm glad because I love Sarah French. She's one of my special people. And I've always felt that Sarah French was just used for her body. And every time she made a movie, she was naked. And I was glad that in this film, she showed us that she could act. And Sarah French will be a great actress
Yeah.
with time. With time.
I think
So
so.
let's-
That's a breakthrough role.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Mark Waltz did a brilliant directing.
Marcel.
Waltz did a brilliant job of, I should know that name, of directing. The photography was excellent. A couple of things I didn't care for, but I discussed that with Marcel, and he agreed. But he's learning also. We don't have the directors or the producers we had in the 50s and 60s. These young people today, they don't know what they're doing. They just say, I'm going to direct.
So hold on, let's go.
But just one more thing. I remember when I was directed by Sidney Lumet.
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 That's Lumet, but
Lumet or Lumet. Many people say it. No,
I'm going to leave it.
many different ways. A director then would sit you down and say to you, listen, your character is a murderer. You're angry because the police are coming after you, so you don't care if you kill these people in the room. So I want you to look like you could kill them cold-heartedly. And this is, he discussed your character. He gave you a feeling of what you should do, what he's expected you to do to go along with his story. Now, the director simply tells you, walk to the window, look out the window, go open the door, now go back to your mark, except there's no mark there. So I said, but am I out of camera focus? And he said, no, the camera follows you. Okay, it's a whole new ballpark. Have you been in films in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s?
Have I?
Yeah.
I started in the mid 80s. My first movie was with Maud Adams, Michael Perea, and Eddie Velez. It was called The Women's Club. They shot it in Denver. And I worked with Perry Mason, Raymond Burr. I did a couple movies with him, and I did Father Dowling up in Denver too with Tom Bosley.
oh
And
yeah,
then
that's
I
Happy
think
Happy
that
Days,
came
the
here.
Happy Days guy.
Yeah, I know who he is. Pere is a very good friend. It was a good friend of mine, Michael Pere. I know Michael 30,
That was a
40,
good one though.
30 or 40 years ago. Michael was one of the most handsomest men in the world. Michael
Yeah.
Pere.
So
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah,
a
in the
sweetheart,
80s.
a sweetie of a guy. Yeah, I met him around the late 70s.
so like when did you actually move to Hollywood then? Because you moved from someplace else.
I came from Denver to Hollywood in 1989, but I was born in a place called Calistoga, which is in Napa Valley, and so I've lived a lot of places. But I went to Denver and just got in the show business accidentally. People told me I was very shy, so I wanted to, be more assertive. So I took acting lessons, and then it led to commercials and a lot of print jobs, and eventually TV and movies. And then my breakthrough role was with the Women's Club, and I came down here on the strength of that. It was done with Sandra Roland Weintraub was the director on that. She was the girlfriend of Martin Scorsese. So he edited the film, and I think it was in theaters for a week or so, and that was it. But anyway, it brought me down here. And
I love it. So I want to know how it was being on American Horror Society. I mean, American Horror Story, not Society.
It's okay. We're tired. We're still tired, Larry, from our schlepping all over the
I
L.A.
understand.
8 times we went into L.A. 8 times in a week.
So
from
hold on.
Palm Springs.
Okay, but go
Oh,
back.
yeah.
So you were in American Horror Story, and
No. That's not me. That's somebody else. American Horror Story?
it's on your IMDb.
Where? What year?
It says that you were in the hotel one for Hotel.
No, the hospital.
Oh,
Right.
it's the hospital? No. Anyway,
Well, just leave it.
I've done
that
a
was
lot more.
I was going to be so excited. I was like, because you're billed fourth on the thing ahead of
Yeah,
10 Academy Award winners on
Somebody
it.
put me on. Well, I'll have to check that out. But no, I love the show, but I never did that one. I started doing.
leave it.
I started in horrible comedy, and then it evolved into comedy horror later. So I've done a lot of horror, but
Do you watch horror movies? Do you watch horror movies? Like, would you watch them if you weren't in them?
of course I watch them a lot. It's one of my favorite genres.
I hate them. I never watched.
Well, some of them get a little tiresome. If it's
No, the blood, the guts, the cutting, the chopping, the heads rolling. I don't care for
Wait,
that.
what's your favorite? I love horror movies.
Yeah,
What's
but
your favorite?
that's to me that's not entertainment.
What is your favorite?
That's ghoulism.
Okay, well, what's your favorite horror movie that you've been in?
well, Frankenstein versus the Creature, which you
Okay, I
probably
have that.
in review, but there it is. Thanks for the plug. But,
There you go. It's
yeah, I had the lead
called
role.
William Winkler's Frankenstein versus the Creature from Blood Cove, a loving homage to the classic cinema of yesteryear.
I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. So that's why I didn't get back to you. Who has time, Larry? You see
Yeah,
us.
I understand.
We're
Yeah.
all over the
Well,
place.
that's fine. No, I wanted to kind of defend it because we shot it in color and then rendered it to black and white. It's kind of a loving homage to or a tribute to the 30s and 40s classic monster movies, the way they used to be made. And so a lot of things are done specifically for that reason. So it's not like a modern film. We won Best Feature at the World's Horror Fest, which is one of the most iconic horror fests in the world. But we were very proud of that back in 2006. And I've worked with William Winkler on Double the Avenger. That's about a woman who fights crime with her breasts. And you couldn't make a movie like that these days. I knew Ron would like that.
That's my joke is breasts. We could have gotten Eileen Shapiro in that one for sure.
I know.
But I mean,
Do a sequel with her.
it's just a woman fighting.
Actually, though, he's done because he also did a movie, Beach Massacre at Kill Devil Hills, with Chalet Lizette Brennan, the young girl,
Yeah.
with
Chalet.
Alyssa Dowling, Alyssa Dowling is Sadie's one of her best friends.
Yeah.
Sarah French and Donna Lee Heising. They've all been on our show. They've all been on the show.
And half of them are friends of ours.
And then you've also, I noticed you did a lot of movies with Al Snow and Jim O'Rear, who both of them are friends of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did the Hospital. That was a pretty good movie, The Hospital.
That's right. That was very horrific. It's a horror film, but it's very graphic and gruesome. And they made another one, and I wasn't in. That's the second one. And I worked with Daniel Emery Taylor. Are you familiar with him? He does a lot of horror films. back in Alabama, a friend of Jim Rear's, and they've worked together on several films. So I've worked with both of them about 4 times.
I'm happy to say I've never slid anybody up in a movie.
Yet.
I won't do it. I played a cop. I played a minister. I
played a mafia guy.
A mafia guy, and now I'm playing. What am I playing? I'm playing an army sergeant in my next movie.
I've done all 4 of those things. Same with me.
But I don't cut people up. I get killed or whatever. But so far I haven't been casted as a crazy person or a monster. Have you?
I have several times. The short film you saw a clip of, Downsized, it was like a human monster, and I've also played space aliens, and I mean, different things.
Yeah,
he would love to play
I want to play an alien. Yeah, that I'll play. I'm dying to play an alien. That would be fun to do. But I really don't approve of young minds, young people growing up, seeing this kind of slaughter, this kind of heartless, animalistic killing, cutting up, chopping up. The film is not a film; it's sensationalism.
I love it.
No, you love it. That's why you're warped. But the films of my day, you never saw blood. You saw Frankenstein, Dracula. You knew what was going on. You didn't have to see gore because we had censors back then.
Very true.
Who said, "Can't do it, can't do it."
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I attribute a lot of these killings of these crazy kids that are shooting everybody up to video games and some of the movies that we produce.
No way.
I do. Because it gives them a sense that they can kill, they can shoot, they can do.
No way.
Jimmy, we had morals back then. Cowboy movies, they never shot anybody, if you notice.
I know, but still, people could still watch those and
No.
See
But
the
I think
simulated
young boy growing up, the lust of, oh my God, pulling the trigger. Look, I could knock that person.
Anyway.
No, that's you.
So hold on, let's go back though.
That's me.
Okay, let's go back. We fight a lot. Don't worry about it, Larry.
I believe that
I agree to some extent. I really do. I think if you're predisposed to psychosis, it'll trigger it.
Absolutely.
But not everybody, but some people.
No, I didn't say everybody. I said those that do.
Right. Exactly.
Because this is they're damaged to begin with, and this only increases their ability to be.
You also did a movie back in the day called Prison for Children with Josh Brolin and John Ritter. And I guess that's not a horror movie though, right?
No, it was juvenile delinquent story about a young man. Ethan Hawke plays the young man.
Yeah, those are
he's
big
a big star today.
They're all big stars. Well, John Ritter's dead, but Josh Brolin's Academy Award nominee, and he was in a movie that I loved a lot back in the day called. It was a skateboard movie called. Oh my God, I forgot the name of it. I have it autographed by him in my office, but I love that kind of stuff a lot. So what's your favorite not horror movie that you're not in? Since you're in a lot of horror, and you're in a lot of horror movies, what like if you were to watch a mainstream horror movie, what are some of your favorite ones?
Well, I love The Exorcist because it was done very well.
Yes.
And
that was done well.
I was so thrilled to meet the lady who played the demon.
Eileen Dietz. We know her, yes.
Our little Eileen. We love Eileen.
Yeah.
She's our little Cupid doll. She's my sweetie pie.
Yeah, she's super nice.
I love Eileen.
Yeah.
What other one? Like you didn't like any of the so you're not like Friday the 13th or Hellraiser or any of that kind of stuff?
No, Freddy Krueger. I'm all set to do a movie with Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, called Harvest Moon up in Telluride, Colorado. Still waiting for the green light on that one. That's my next film.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I know.
He's a really nice guy. He's in my Jimmy Stars the Shit videos.
Very good.
That's a compliment.
Englund. It is a compliment. No, Robert Englund's a really nice guy. So is Doug Bradley.
It's hard to schedule him. Yeah, he's in between, but we got to catch him at the right moment.
Those guys work all the time.
And
though.
that's
They're
another
never
thing
working.
about the business. I have 5 movies I've been asked to come in, and half of them have to be green lighted, or they're looking for the financing. I don't understand that. Years ago, the studio had the movie and they put you in it.
Well, it was a studio film, not an independent.
Yeah.
That's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah,
that's
nowadays.
The biggest obstacle, the funding.
But you don't know how to plan your life. In other words, let's say October, I'm supposed to shoot Aliens from Mars, and they're waiting for the green light. Then somebody says to me, I want you in October for Young Frankenstein.
Right.
You don't know what movie to choose because that one may not get green lighted. Exactly. And then you're out of work for a month. So
yeah, You learn all your lines. You're all ready, and then they push
lines,
it next
forget
year.
it.
So do you have trouble remembering lines?
I do.
I know you do.
No,
That's what I'm asking if he
teach
does.
memory classes. I'm a memory teacher, so I don't have too much difficulty.
Well,
the main problem with people is that they don't associate their lines with an actual event. You need to see it in your mind. Your mind works on pictures. You learn things through visualization and association, and it actually embeds it in your mind. So I teach memory classes on the side. So
that's cool.
I can give you some tips if you need them.
It's also the brain. The brain is dissolving. I'm going to be 80, and the brain dissolves. I don't care what anybody says. I have so much going on that our show takes up most of our time.
Yeah.
Plus, all the things that we have to do. I write articles for 3 different publications, so my mind is really fried sometimes. But I do have difficulty. But now I'm going to tell a secret. I intend to put a plug in my ear, like Marlon Brando did, and like Al Pacino is doing, and the other one,
Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp does too.
Robert De Niro, and also the guy that we saw in the movies,
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. Everybody's doing it now. I don't know if they're lazy. I'm doing it because I have selective memory. If I like a line from a movie, like my last film I was in, I could tell you 4 or 5 fabulous lines that I loved because I believed in them. But the rest of it I didn't care for. It wasn't really what a person from Brooklyn would say. So if my character and my lines don't jive, I have difficulty. Example, if I'm playing a drag queen, I know how a drag queen talks. Or if I'm playing a mafia from Brooklyn, I know how he talks. But the writers don't know how to write authentic lines. They just write whatever they think the story should be. That's why the acting comes off corny in most of the films that we see.
I agree with you. I ask the director sometimes if I can say this or that. It's kind of a collaborative effort.
I don't even ask. I just do it. I don't care. I walk off sets. I'm not bothered. I don't give a shit. I mean, to me, I won't tolerate abuse of any kind because for $200 a day, you don't own me. And I don't really give a shit about your movie, if it's good or if it's bad, because, who cares? The work's not fabulous. I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because I'm in hopes of making film better. That's my real motive for doing it. It's not ego. It's not like I've been in movies. Who cares? I want to make these films better. I want to show them what actors can do. And in every movie I've been in, I've really been the number one actor in the film. Right. The only one that knows how to act. And I so want all the other actors to feel the same way.
Do you use real emotions, Ron?
What?
Do you use real emotions when you act?
I am the character.
Yeah, I do that same thing. I used to teach acting, and I used to tell my students, don't fake it, feel it, because the audience can sense that you're acting. They see your strings and they'll pull back. You need to actually feel the emotions.
No, that's why your costume, your lines have to be your character. If the costume doesn't work, you're not the person. I know that if I'm in a piece that I'm wearing a costume that I would not wear normally, I look in the mirror and I say to myself, okay, this is who you're transferring to. This is who you're going to be. See that? You selected these clothes in the store because your mentality is this. You're a Guido guy. You're a low class. You're a whatever. And then the lines have to go in with it. Okay, low class. These crappy clothes. You know what I mean? It's all a big. It's all an act. And you just can't go in the morning and read lines because you read them with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So hold on, because we only have a couple minutes. So let's do it.
I want to say something. Lorene Landon is going into Motel 2.
Clown Motel 2.
Clown Motel 2. And that's why I've accepted their offer to be in the film. Because Lorene said she's going to improve the value of the film. She's going to hire far more important actors. And I feel the same way. So together, we're going to really make Clown 2 a very
Clown
good...
Motel 2.
Fuck you.
Excellent.
A very good movie, sort of like our give back to Hollywood film. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we really can help with Joe's directing, because Joe's a great director, but he's young and he could use a little coaching.
So let's go with you. What do you got coming up? Tell us what you got coming up.
Well, I got Harvest Moon. I've got another one called Repulse in Alabama. It's about the sex trade, that white slavery, and another one called Portuguese Bend that I'm doing right down here in San Pedro, and all about the Harbor Commission, how corrupt they are, bringing in Russian prostitutes. So I've got several things lined up, but they've all pushed them till next year. So I was kind of in between, and I got a 48-hour film festival, little short film that I did called, it's a Portuguese film with English subtitles, believe it or not. It's something very unique. It's called like Corazones de Fuego. It's the Heart of Fire. I play a American ambassador. So that was fun to do. And that's when we were at that birthday party for Thomas Churchill, I had to go to do that. And so I enjoyed it. Scratched that itch I needed. Because
there you go. So everybody listen up. This is G. Larry Butler. He's on Facebook. Can they get this movie someplace?
Yeah, you can contact me directly on that one. Or you could probably see it on Amazon. If you want to, give them my email, is fine. And I could, for $10, I'll send it to you.
There you go. It's Frankenstein versus the Creature from Blood Cove, you guys. Check it out with G. Larry Butler. He's got lots of films coming out. He's been in lots of films. Check out When Duty Calls. I want to know, did you get to work with Daphne Zuniga?
That and Duty Calls, yeah. I was a wedding official. I married him.
I love her to death. She's like one of my favorite actors from
the
80s.
Sweetheart, yeah.
And Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club, so I loved him too. So everybody, this is G. Larry Butler. We got to go because we're out of time. We wish you all the luck in your career and everything that you've got going on, and I'm sure we're going to see you very soon.
Yeah, what's the next thing we're going to see?
I don't know, but whatever the next
thing
we're
going to see Lorene's film? Isn't that coming up next?
No, that's not till December.
Oh, December.
So we'll see you soon
at the next red carpet.
We'll see you at the next red carpet, Larry. Thank you.
Stay well, my friend.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you then.
Thanks. See ya. Bye-bye.